What if the very quality you think makes you irresistible is actually your biggest turnoff? I'm talking about being nice. Too nice. The kind of nice that makes people run. Carl Jung, the legendary psychologist, discovered something that'll shake you to your core. The nicest people often become the loneliest people. Not because they're unlucky, not because the world is cruel, but because they've fallen into a psychological trap so sneaky, they can't even see it happening. Stick with me, because what I'm about to share will change how you look at every relationship you've ever had, and every relationship you'll ever have. Picture this. You're at a coffee shop. There's that person who always says yes, always smiles, never complain, put everyone else first. Sound familiar? Jung called this the pleasing persona. These folks have mastered the art of being agreeable. But here's Jung's disturbing insight. The most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely. And nice people, they refuse to do exactly that. They've created a perfect mask, polite, considerate, available 24/7. But underneath that mask lies what Jung called the shadow, the real self, the authentic person who's been buried alive under layers of people-pleasing. Here's the twist that'll make your skin crawl. Most people who think they're nice aren't actually kind at all. They're terrified, Jung said. Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. When nice people get irritated because others don't return their kindness, that's their shadow talking, the part that's been keeping score all along. But it gets worse. Jung's research revealed 3 devastating reasons why the nicest people end up completely alone. The third one will make you question everything you think you know about love. Reason 1. The identity crisis. Jung discovered we all wear masks, what he called personas, social masks to help us navigate different situations. At work, with friends, on dates. But nice people made a fatal mistake. They confused their mask with their identity. Think about it. When someone asks them what they're like, what do they say? I'm easygoing, I'm accommodating, I never cause problems. But Jung warned, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. Here's the cruel irony. The more you hide behind niceness, the more invisible you become. People don't fall in love with masks. They fall in love with souls. But if you've buried your soul under artificial sweetness, how can anyone find you? Jung said something that'll haunt you. The most damaging phrase in the language is, "It's not personal." Because for nice people, everything is personal. Every rejection, every time they're taken for granted, every moment their kindness goes unnoticed. But here's what they don't realize. Jung discovered that our unconscious mind always reveals our true motivations, and the unconscious mind of the chronically nice person. It's running a secret accounting system. This is uncomfortable. Nice people aren't giving from abundance. They're investing from scarcity. Every act of kindness comes with an invisible price tag. Please love me back, Jung said. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. The nice person's unconscious is screaming, if I'm good enough, perfect enough, selfless enough, they'll have to stay. But here's the psychological truth that'll shatter your illusions. People can sense desperation from miles away, even when it's wrapped in kindness. even when it comes with a smile, even when it never directly asks for anything. The energy of need is suffocating. Jung discovered that real relationships require what he called individuation, the process of becoming whole within yourself. But nice people are trying to use others to fill the holes in their identity. That's not love, that's emotional parasitism. Reason 2. The shadow's revenge. Here's Jung's most disturbing insight. He said, "One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." The darkness that nice people refuse to acknowledge their own needs, their own anger, their own boundaries. According to Jung, every personality trait has its opposite lurking in the shadows. The perpetually sweet person harbors seething resentment. The endlessly giving person nurses deep entitlement. The conflict-avoiding person carries rage that could burn cities. But here's what happens when you refuse to acknowledge your shadow. Jung discovered that repressed emotions don't disappear. They ferment. They turn toxic. They seep out in passive-aggressive behaviors, in martyrdom, in that subtle energy of, "Look how much I sacrifice for you." Jung observed, everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. The nice person gets irritated by selfish people, inconsiderate people, ungrateful people, not realizing they're seeing their own repressed shadow reflected back. And here's the kicker. People can feel this hidden resentment. It makes them uncomfortable. It makes them want to pull away. Jung said something revolutionary. The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. But transformation requires truth. Real connection happens when two people meet soul to soul, not mask to mask. But the nice person has worn their mask so long, they've forgotten they have a soul underneath. Jung discovered that what we call chemistry between people is actually the recognition of authentic self, meeting authentic self. But if you're always performing, always agreeable, always fine, where's the authentic self for someone to connect with? Here's what'll blow your mind. The people who are magnetically attractive aren't the nicest. They're the most real. They have boundaries. They have opinions. They can say no. They can walk away. They can be disappointed, angry, sad, and they don't hide it. Jung said, "Your vision becomes clear when you look into your heart. Who looks outside? Dreams. Who looks inside? Awakens." The nice person has been looking outside for validation so long, they've fallen asleep to themselves. Reason 3. The emotional suppression disaster. Here's Jung's most disturbing discovery about nice people. They're committing slow psychological suicide. Jung observed that what you resist persists. The nice person resists their authentic emotions, their anger, their sadness, their needs, their desires. Believing this makes them more lovable. But here's the psychological reality that'll terrify you. According to Jung's research, suppressed emotions don't vanish. They go underground, and they begin to poison the entire system. The perpetually pleasant person becomes emotionally numb. They lose the ability to feel joy because they've shut down their capacity for pain. Jung discovered that the psyche demands wholeness. You can't selectively suppress emotions. When you numb the difficult ones, you numb them all. And here's the cruel twist. In trying to be lovable by being easy, nice people become boring. They become predictable. They become safe, but not exciting. Comfortable, but not passionate, Jung said. The most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely. This includes accepting your anger, your needs, your boundaries, your disappointments. But nice people would rather die than be seen as difficult. Think about the people you're most drawn to. Are they the ones who never disagree, who never has bad days, who never expresses frustration? Of course not. You're drawn to people who feel real, who seems human, who aren't afraid to show their full range of emotions. But nice people have convinced themselves that having feelings makes them burdens, that expressing needs makes them selfish, that setting boundaries makes them mean. So they smile when they're hurting. They say yes when they mean no. They give when they're empty. They stay when they should leave. And slowly, inevitably, they disappear. Not physically, but emotionally, spiritually. The person they really are gets buried so deep, even they forget who that person was. The magnetic transformation. But Jung didn't just identify the problem. He discovered the solution. Integration. He said, "I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become." Here's what choosing to become whole looks like. Stop performing kindness and start embodying authenticity. Jung found that when someone begins to integrate their shadow, to own their full range of human emotions, something magnetic happens. According to Jung, everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. The nice person must ask, what am I rejecting in myself that I'm trying to compensate for with excessive agreeability? The answer will shock you. Usually, it's power. It's anger. It's the right to have needs. It's permission to be human instead of angelic. Jung observed that the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are, not who you think you should be, not who others want you to be, who you actually are. Messy, complex, sometimes difficult, sometimes beautiful. And here's what happens when you do this. Wholeness is attractive in a way that niceness never can be. When someone owns their full humanity, their light and their darkness, they become what Jung called individuated. An individual person is never lonely, even when alone. According to Jung, your vision becomes clear when you look into your heart. When you're clear about who you are, what you want, what you'll accept, and what you won't, you become a magnet for authentic connection. The fake people fall away. The users get bored. The energy vampires move on to easier targets. But something beautiful happens in that space. Real people start appearing. People who appreciate your boundaries because they have their own. People who love your authenticity because they're working on their own. People who aren't looking for a parent or a therapist or a servant. They're looking for an equal. Jung said, "The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed." This is what you've been missing. Mutual transformation instead of one-sided depletion. Jung discovered something that nice people desperately need to hear. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Your loneliness isn't fate. It's not punishment for being too good. It's not evidence that the world is cruel. It's feedback. It's your psyche's way of saying, come home to yourself. Stop betraying who you are for temporary approval. Stop shrinking to fit into spaces that were never meant for you. Jung observed, one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. Your darkness isn't your cruelty. It's your power. It's your right to say no. Your right to have needs. Your right to be disappointed. Your right to walk away. Your right to be human instead of perfect. According to Jung, every individual faces a choice. Remain unconscious and repeat the same patterns, or become conscious and transform. The nice person's choice is this: continue wearing the mask of agreeability and wonder why no one truly sees you, or remove the mask and discover who's been waiting underneath. Jung said, the most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely. But here's what he also discovered. It's the only path to genuine connection. It's the only path to real love. It's the only path to ending the loneliness that's been eating you alive. You weren't born to be liked. You were born to be real. Here's Jung's final insight. Your vision becomes clear when you look into your heart. Who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakens. It's time to wake up. It's time to stop dreaming that niceness will save you and start awakening to the magnificent, complex, sometimes difficult, always authentic human being you actually are. That person, the real you, is never alone for long, because authenticity is the rarest treasure in a world full of masks, and everyone is secretly searching for what's real, the people worth having in your life. They're not looking for perfection. They're looking for the truth. They're looking for someone brave enough to be human. Someone courageous enough to show their scars along with their smiles. Someone exactly like the person you'll become when you finally stop hiding behind niceness and start living as real. The journey isn't easy. Jung knew that. He said, there is no coming to consciousness without pain. But the pain of authenticity is nothing compared to the slow death of pretending, the exhaustion of performing, the loneliness of never being truly known. So here's your challenge. Today, this week, this month, start small. Express one authentic feeling. Set one real boundary. Say one genuine no. Show one glimpse of who you really are beneath the mask. And watch what happens. Watch how the right people lean in instead of pulling away. Watch how real connection becomes possible when you show up. Jung was right. The most terrifying thing is to accept yourself completely. But it's also the most liberating thing, the most magnetic thing, the most life-changing thing you'll ever do. Stop being nice. Start being real. Your future relationships depend on it. If this message spoke to your soul, don't let it end here. Like if you've ever felt unseen, comment with your truth. Your story might be the light someone else is searching for. Subscribe if you're ready to go deeper into healing, into shadow work, into the truth of who you really are. This isn't just a channel, it's a mirror, a movement, a return to yourself. Welcome to Echoes of Thought.